Now, private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu has descended on the Bank of Ghana, saying it cannot exonerate itself from the 60.8 billion cedis loss it incurred in 2022 as a result of the domestic debt exchange program. According to him, the Bank of Ghana, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, must take the blame because his outfit breached the law by failing to report to Parliament before financing the government. Speaking on Newsfile, Mr. Kpebu joined calls for the governor and his two deputies to resign.
As I referred earlier, and Joynews Champion, he's done well by referring to the section 36 to 6. It says report to Parliament. So there's the first part which says that when you reach the threshold, it should be reported to Parliament. I'm looking for it so that we can read it out. Because once you reach the threshold, report to Parliament. So let's read 37. It says, where the total of loans, advances, purchases of treasury bills, and securities made under subsection 1 is 5% of the previous fiscal year's total revenue, the governor shall notify the minister and Parliament of the attainment of the limit under subsection 2. And then it goes on to say the finance minister should also go to Parliament. So why is the notification? And Dr. Joynews Champion, yes, last week you raised it, so we're on another platform, you raised it. That is where we should be holding the governor. I'm telling you that Addison is a co-architect of our economic woes now.
But financial risks analyst Thomas Emeher thinks otherwise. According to him, the central bank saved the country from defaulting on its loans when government was struggling to raise revenue to settle its creditors. He, however, wants the root cause of the problem at the central bank to be addressed to avoid future losses.
Hindsight is always clearer than foresight. Now, at the time they made that decision, there was no indication that this problem was going to come. All right? This problem started arising in December 2021 when Bloomberg announced the problems we're having with our Eurobond, the way investor confidence had gone down. That time, the decision has already been made. So, I mean, there was no way Bank of Ghana would have known. Now, for me, the bigger issue is that we are looking at the symptoms of an issue rather than the cause. We should be looking at a 5 billion haircut, not a 250 million building. If what happened to the Bank of Ghana in 2022 had not happened, nobody would be talking about this building. Or even the expenses that has become an issue, the increase in expenses. Nobody will be talking about this. These are all just symptoms of a problem. We should be addressing the cause. What happened that led us into this situation, where now Bank of Ghana is spending 250 million on a new office and it becomes a national issue.
Meanwhile, political risks analyst Dr. Joynews Champion says the central bank will continue to post losses because it does not have operational independence. Is therefore calling for a review of the Constitution to create its independence to reduce excessive pressure from the central government.
In July, when the media budget was read, they said that they only needed 38 billion to close the gap. But at the end of the year, the gap now jumped to almost 60-something plus, billion. So the question is, why does the bank sit down and allow itself to be used to finance a gap that is even twice more than the government itself had indicated to us in the media budget? And it comes down fundamentally, for me, again, from where I sit, that the operational independence of the central bank is suspect. It has become pretty much subservient to the broader fiscal policy agenda of the state. And you can look at who appoints the governors and the board of the central bank.
Now, away from that, the youth of Kenya say in the Ahafo region are threatening to embark on a demonstration after the contractor of a road project in the area abandoned the site despite receiving full contract payment. The contractor, Kofi Job Construction Limited, was fully paid 95.4 million cedis for the upgrade of the Hwidiam Kenyasi Road by Newmont Ghana Gold Ahafo Mine. But the contractor has since left the site after reconstructing nearly 60% of the road with asphalt. Now, Emmanuel Kpebu visited the community together with journalists for business advocacy and now reports.
Buildings along the Kumasi Road are losing their original paintings as dust and mud from the stretch discolors their identities. Economic activities along the entire portions of the road are grinding to a halt, with some local shops closing down. Mercy Bedawo is a hairdresser at Reverend.
The dust really worries us. It's better today. When the tricycle passes here, they pollute the air with lots of dust.
It was a great relief for traders and road users when reconstruction of the 8.2-kilometer road commenced in 2022 with full sponsorship from Newmont Ghana Gold Limited. The project, awarded to Kpebu Construction Limited, was originally estimated at 70.3 million cedis, but halted in the early parts of the year. JoyNews sources indicate the contractor demanded additional payments following inflationary pressures and worsening road conditions. This saw revaluation of the contract cost to 95.4 million cedis to be absorbed by Newmont. Sources at the mine indicate a full payment of costs was subsequently made to the contractor through the Ministry of Roads and Highways. This is corroborated by Kpebu of Kumasi No. 2, Nanowusu Bwedu Ayeboafo.
There will be a friend forum. Nana various stakeholders nisha near June Newmont to Nena Nanom community. We
went for a meeting where Newmont informed us they've paid the contractor the new cost, but after payment we haven't seen the contractor on site again.
96 million Ghana cedis. Inflation, no more the account one preco. And almost okay that and normally account one component says no. Now no more tuning in. It's a highway for no at the buy and say this is the cost.
The project is presently only halfway completed, with no signs of the contractor's equipment on site for continuation.
Some few meters away from here is definitely one of the smoothest rides you can find on this particular road. That is because the road has been asphalted. But right after that, you would have to gird up your loins for a bumpy road.
And my problem with the contractor and the share as what the abode can't fail. Is you to an abone PPama if you try a ticing, just a lot of problem.
The stones on the road are cutting our tires. It's bringing a lot of problems to us. We have to service our car every 2 weeks.
Because of the dust, the shops here are opened only during market days.
The road is an important stretch linking Kumasi and adjoining communities to the main Kumasi-Gosu road. Youth in the communities are incensed by the abrupt abandonment of the road project, threatening to stage protests against the local government in demand for completion of works. Abdul Karim Yabua is Ahafo Kumasi No. 2 Youth Development Leader.
All that we know is that Newmont has said it in front of the regional minister, in front of the DC, in front of everybody. We've seen documents confirming that they have paid. Our next step is that we want to meet the minister. The minister spoke to us that they were going to meet the security minister and the road minister to speak to Kpebu to persuade him. We may not report to police. We may not tell anybody. Before people realize, we will demonstrate against whoever is in charge, whoever is responsible to ensure that this road is fixed. We will make them see how ungrateful, how unhappy about this road that we people are having.
Until the local government institutes measures to have the contractor back on site, residents would continue to endure worsening road conditions. For JoyNews, I am Emmanuel Kpebu.
Now let's stay in the Ashanti region because the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly is releasing about 100 tricycles seized at the Central Business District for breaching regulations. Each impounded tricycle will pay a fine of 134 cedis. The ban on the tricycles is part of the Assembly's transport reorganization exercise, which targets decongestion of the city centre. Now, Jima has more in the following report.
Since Monday, the KMA's security officers have enforced its orders to restrict commercial tricycles from operating in the central business district of Kumasi. In the process, over 100 tricycles were impounded, leading to a violent protest by the tricycle riders. On different occasions, the riders blocked major roads in protest against the arrest of colleagues and impounding of tricycles. A fine of 500 cedis has been waived, 234 cedis for the release of the impounded machines. But leadership of the Praga riders says they are not in capacity to guarantee the required counter-signing of documents for the release of impounded tricycles. Saidu Mubarak is chairman of the Praga Okada Riders Association.
The last time we met at the Prempe Hall, I think he told the media that when we come there, he will release the impounded tricycles to us. But as we reached there, it was like we should sign an undertaking, which we, as a leader, you cannot sign undertaking for someone who is outside. So we told him that we would rather plead on him that he should allow us to go and see our members and then come back. Whatever it is, they said we will get back to them. Right.
The Praga operators, after Wednesday's protests, resorted to comply with KMA's directive to restrict their operations as Asawase MP Muntaka Mubarak leads deliberations with the Assembly to soften its position. The office of the Asanteman Development Chief of Zongo, Alhaji Abdullahi Ali Bari, has also called the riders to exercise restraint in seeking redress.
They have told us their concerns. The issues with KMA and subsequent arrest of some of their members are some of the concerns. I assured them of my preparedness to help them. I plead with them to exercise restraint.
In a statement, the KMA has assured of its commitment to ensuring effective implementation of the restriction. For JoyNews, Nanaya Ochima reporting.
Now, thousands of angry residents at Apollonia face the threat of losing their homes after a High Court ruling granted a possession order to an estate company alleging illegal occupation. The company, owned by an Apollonia native, is claiming possession of a massive area spanning over 2,000 acres of land. Concerns have escalated among landlords and homeowners in the catchment area, and they have vowed to resist the court's decision. JoyNews correspondent Evels Washington brings us more in this exclusive report.
In response to the ruling, hundreds of house owners and landlords from communities like Peaceland Hills, Graceland, Zion City, Castlegate, among others, gathered in protest, dressed in red to express their dissent. Residents who have lived in the area for decades dispute the accuracy of the court's ruling and refuse to let anyone, including the real estate company, take over their properties or resell portions of their lands. Richard Oga leads the defiant residents.
Yes, we, the coalition of concerned citizens of Zion City, Zion Hills, Graceland, Mexico City, Lominava, Green Hills, Amen City, Peaceland Estate, all under Katamaso Municipal Assembly. We will resist plan by any real estate to take over our properties. We, the landlords in the aforementioned communities, have in recent times peak information indicating that a real estate developing company intends to take over the lands that we concerned citizens have developed in the various enclaves. We have worked hard and on sweat, brought and developed our properties, and after after several years in staying in our homes, we hear a company named Etodat is pursuing us to claim our land. So with several investigations, we were able to get some of the court order. And I'm going through the court order. Before the court is an application ex parte, which simply means that they are saying they are presenting the application to the court on like in blind sight of the community members. So we don't know anything about any court application that was presented, and that is why we are here today to make this press release that even the court order we got, it was due to our investigation. They didn't serve any member of the community. So for that reason, we are ready to resist any pressure, any form that they are coming to take over our property. We will not allow it, and united we stand. We are going to fight them. We are going to fight them. We are not going to allow it. Together we stand.
Various landlords at the press conference also voiced their dissatisfaction with the development in the area, underscoring the magnitude of the situation.
We will not wait until we develop the community. They will not wait. They will not wait until we develop every place. Then they will come out that they are taking our possession. Whatever problem they have, they should solve it within themselves. We, Zion, Mexico, Graceland, Lomnava, and Ancliffs, we will stand on our feet. If they have any problem, they should go and solve it.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Please do stay. Hello, welcome back. Now, health authorities in the Bono East region have expressed concerns about the rising number of babies who die from birth annually from the disease asphyxia. Now, they attribute lack of adequate facilities and expertise as the major cause of the region's rising figures. My colleague Anna Sabit has been speaking with the regional health director, Dr. Fred Adomako Boatin, and has come through with the following report.
In Ghana, about 1 million babies are born every year on the average, with the recent data from the Ghana Health Services revealing that about 50,000 babies die from birth asphyxia annually. Here in the Bono East region, health authorities are expressing worry at this development as birth asphyxia remains the major cause of neonatal deaths across the area. Dr. Paulina Clara Apia is the Deputy Director in charge of Public Health at the Regional Health Directorate.
When we say neonatal death, what it means is that a baby who dies before or within 28 days, the first 28 days, is neonatal death. And for us in the country, it is the first 7 days. The first 7 days is what we call the early neonatal death. That is where most of the deaths actually happen. And it's about 70%. So asphyxia is one of the causes of the neonatal death.
Well, apologies for that. We'll bring you that story in our bulletins later on. But First Lady of the Royal House Chapel, Reverend Ms. Koranchi Ankara, is cautioning young individuals entering into marriage about the dangers of toxic relationships. She emphasized that hoping for a change in such partners after marriage is a risky gamble and urged those caught in such situations to prioritize their well-being.
If you are not married, every young person here listening to me, if you are not married, please, and you are in a relationship with anybody who is abusive, verbally, emotionally, physically, please, it's not a red flag, it's a red signboard. Flee. I'm begging you. You can't deal with them. You don't know when you are offending them. You don't know when you are making them happy. I mean, you don't know. I've handled so many of such issues. We've handled it as a church. Oh, let's counsel them. It will work. Let's work with them. It might work. Oh, maybe when you get married, and you show him a lot of love, it will work. Or you show her a lot of love, it will work. My darling, it doesn't work. All the killings, the stabbing, the what is as a result of these things. If you are going out with somebody, you are not married yet, and the person makes you feel like you are nothing, my darling, it won't change.
Great. All right. Thank you very much.
If you are in a relationship and the person hits you once, my darling, it will happen a second, it will happen a third. I've handled too many of such cases. It doesn't work. Advise yourself now.
Well, meanwhile, playwright Kpebu White is concerned about the penetration of Western culture into the Ghanaian marriage system and advises young couples not to bow to such trends.
It has something to do with the church. It has more to do with our blind copying of Western culture, without realizing that when it comes to culture, we are richer than they are. They should be learning from us. They should be copying from us in certain ways. Unfortunately, because they have the wealth, so it has become like a family that is taking orders from the rich cousin who has no sense. But everybody now follows his lead, without realizing that there is nyansa and there is, yes. So we should be careful.
Well, that's all we have for you on Prime Sports. The Prime, with me, with Razak Musbao. Please do stay tuned to JoyNews.